Good day, students. We are again in our Practical Research 1, Quarter 3, Module 4, which is about Qualitative Research versus Quantitative Research. Okay, in this module, so these are our objectives. So number 1, describe the characteristic of Qualitative Research. Number 2, describe the characteristics of Quantitative Research. Number 3, differentiate qualitative from quantitative studies. Okay? So this introduction. An adage goes, the quality of the friends you have matter more than the quantity. This means that having great kinds of friends, those that you can rely on, is more important than having numerous friends whom you cannot trust. Don't you agree with this saying? In practical research, the terms quality and quantity are also significant. In the previous modules, you have learned that research is systematic. Therefore, it follows approaches that guides our researcher on the methods and procedures that he needs to do. In the works of Reswell 2014, there are two main types of research according to the approaches, which are qualitative and quantitative. Okay, for your clarification, so in our subject today, PR1, or Practical Research 1, so we'll have our qualitative research. In PR2, in grade 12, we'll have quantitative research. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you regarding our subject. Okay, the word qualitative comes from the word quality, which is often associated with terms, attributes, characteristics, and descriptions. Quality is determined by answering the question, what kind? Okay, meanwhile, quantitative comes from the word quantity, which is linked to the words amount, numbers, and statistics. Quantity usually answers the questions how much or how many. Understanding the types of research will guide you to the approaches and procedures that you need to do in your research. This module will help you learn more about it. Okay, sure, are you ready? Ready? So activities awaits on the next page. So let's go. Okay, let's try this identification. So read the questions related to the picture and determine whether the possible answer are words or numbers. On the space provided, write W for words and for numbers. I hope it is clear. Okay, here is a picture of the merienda food cart of Mang Dani. Every day you would see him outside your school and some questions suddenly come into your head. Okay? Okay, number 1. Why do students flock Mang Dani's cart every afternoon although there are still other merienda carts? So it is a W or N, or words or numbers. Okay, it is W. Okay, number 2. What could be the average daily income of street vendors? Okay, what's your answer? Okay, it is N. Okay, numbers. Okay, number 3. What are the challenges that Mang Dani experienced as a street vendor? Okay, what's the answer? Okay, it's letter W. Okay, number 4. How did Filipinos start consuming fried and barbecued isaw? Okay, what's your answer? Okay, correct. It's letter W. Okay, number 5. How many sticks of isaw and Adidas are sold in a day? Okay, the answer is letter N. Numbers. Okay, number 6. How much is the increase in Mang Dani's income if he would have merienda bundles like those in fast food? Okay, the correct answer is letter N, or the numbers. Okay, I hope you got all the correct answers. Okay, so this is the analysis part of our activity. Activity 1. So which items will have numbers as answers? Okay, we have already answered that. And number 2, which items would have words as answers? Number 3, what difference did you realize among the answers of the given items? Okay, so let's study now the characteristics of qualitative and quantitative research. So let's compare the two research. Okay, according to Stake 1995, as cited in Antwi and Kasim 2015, there are three major differences in qualitative and quantitative research. Okay, number 1, the explanation of the purpose of the inquiry. Okay, number 2, the personal and impersonal role of the research. And number 3, the role discovered and constructed. Okay, so let's have now the qualitative research. So qualitative research is a type of educational research wherein a researcher aims to explore, understand an individual or group ascribe to a social problem in multiple perspectives. It is exploratory and scientific in nature. The research process involves asking broad and general questions and getting a holistic view of the situation. People's experience and perspective are taken into account through observation, in-depth interviews, or focused group discussion. The usual data collected are words, pictures, which are formed into themes and narratives. So just like in our activity about Mangdani. So oftentimes, when little is known about the topic and it needs to be understood better, qualitative research is utilized. That is by Frankel and Wallen 2003, cited in Buencesco et al. 2016 and Creswell 2014. Okay, now let's go to quantitative research. Quantitative research is an educational research wherein the researcher aims to measure, to test, or to establish relationship. It is a confirmatory scientific in nature, wherein a hypothesis, a scientific guess, is tested. The research process involves collection of numerical data from survey, test, or experiment about the variables or the research elements. The results are analyzed using statistical techniques. Moreover, as the researcher has a very specific inquiry, the researcher instruments would yield a very specific and objective result. Okay, the result of the quantitative research can create generalizations and confirmation of a theory. The table below presents a comparison of more characteristic of the two types of research. Okay, so here is the comparison of the two searches. Okay, for assumptions. So in qualitative research, research investigation gives alternative explanation of what the world is like to explain and present. While in quantitative research, research investigation presents a more accurate of how the world really is to measure and to prove. Okay, so you see the difference in the assumptions. Okay, then in hypothesis or quali, hypothesis is uncovered during the research process. While in quantitative research, hypothesis should be established before the research begins. Okay? Okay, for research purposes, so exploration, subject description, in-depth understanding, that is for qualitative. For quanti, measurement, numerical description, establishing relationship, causal and effect explanation. Okay, that is for research purpose. Then let's go to nature and data instruments. So in quali, we have words, images, narratives, needs only few respondents. So we have for data gathering, we have in-depth interviews, field notes, observation. And the question is, or the RQ, open-ended questions. While in quantitative research, so numerical data, high emphasis on reliability and validity of scores. So needs many respondents. Then so questionnaire, surveys. Then narrow and objective questions. That's the difference of that RQ. Okay, for data analysis, search for patterns and themes for quali. While in quanti, you have applying the statistical analysis. Okay. Then for final report, non-conclusive nor generalizable for quali. Then for quanti, it is generalizable findings. Okay, so I hope you get the difference in the two types of researches. Okay, let's do this activity. So making a comparison, so using the activity earlier. So read the items below and answer the questions that follow. It will guide you to determine the appropriate approach to use. Put check mark on the appropriate boxes. Look at item number 1 as your example. Okay, questions. Why do students pluck manganese cart every afternoon, although there are still other Miranda carts? Okay, the assumption. So one is to explain what type of data is words and what approach is better. That is quanti or quali. So this is quali. So this is an example. Okay, let's answer number 2. What could be the average daily income of street vendors? Okay, what is it? Okay, you will check it in to measure. Okay, so data needed, numbers. Approach is quantitative. Okay, I hope you got it correct. Okay, number 3. What are the challenges that Mang Dani experienced as a street food vendor? So the assumption is to explain. And what type of data you need? Words. And the approach is qualitative. Correct. Okay, now let's go for number 4. Okay, the purpose of the research. Okay, how did Filipinos start consuming fried and barbecued isaw? Okay, what's your answer here? Okay, it is here to have in-depth understanding. Okay, what type of data you need? You need words. Then approach. Okay, you have qualitative research. Okay, then number 5. How much the increase in Mang Dani's income if he would have merienda bundles like those in the fast food? Okay, your answer is, you will check here in numerical description. So you will need numbers, type of data, and approach is quantitative. Okay, so I hope you got all the correct answers. Okay, let's remember this. So let's have a recall of our discussion today. Okay, number 1, qualitative research, a study that focuses on in-depth description or explanation of problems using words or pictures. Number 2, quantitative research, a study that aims to describe, find relationship, or to make comparison about problems using numerical data. And number 3, the main difference between the two approaches are the purpose of the research. And number 2, the type of data it would need. Next, the type of data need, the qualitative focuses in-depth description with words or pictures as data, wherein in quantitative it focuses on description of relationship and making comparison with numbers or statistical data. Okay, hope you get it correct. Okay, let's now have this exercise. Okay, let's answer this activity. Okay, read each question below and write the answers below in your answer sheet. Okay, number 1. If quantitative research would need numbers as data, what would qualitative research need? A. Statistics. B. Words. C. Formula. D. Numbers. Okay, correct. It would be B. Words. You got it correct. Okay, number 2. When processing the collected data, qualitative research utilizes thematic analysis and tries to get patterns. What should be done if it is quantitative? A. Find similarities. B. Apply thematic analysis. C. Use statistical tools. D. Apply A, B, and C. Okay, the correct answer is letter C. Use statistical tools. Okay, number 3. When a researcher wants to apply quantitative approach, he could use questionnaires. among the choices, which is the most appropriate to use if qualitative is employed? Okay, what's the answer? Okay, correct. It's letter D, interview. Okay, number 4. Which of the following statement is true about the research purpose of the two approaches? A. When the purpose is to explain deeply a problem, quantitative approach is best to use. B. When the purpose is to measure changes, qualitative approach is best to use. C. When the purpose is to provide a picture of the unknown, quantitative is best to use. And D. When the purpose is to explain a limited knowledge on a problem, qualitative research is best to use. Okay, what's your answer? Okay, the correct answer is letter D. Okay, let's go to number 5. Which statement explains a difference between qualitative and quantitative research? A. Qualitative research explains cause and effect relationship, while quantitative explains numerical data. B. Quantitative research explains cause and effect relationship, while qualitative explains numerical data. C. Qualitative research explains cause and effect relationship, while quantitative gives subjective explanation. Then D. Quantitative explains cause and effect relationship, while qualitative gives subjective explanation. Okay, what's your answer? Okay, the correct answer is letter D. Okay, for number 6, what type of research instrument is better to use if the researcher plans to have a qualitative study about the commuter's perception on jeepney pace out? A questionnaire because he needs numerical data. B. An observation checklist because he needs many respondents. C. An interview because he needs verbal description of their ideas. D. A picture because he needs to show the commuter's actions vividly. Okay, what's your answer? Okay, correct. Letter C. Okay, number 7. If the researcher wants to narrate the history of indigenous tribe in Kalinan, what approach should be applied? A. The researcher should have qualitative research should be applied to clearly present the experiences of the tribe. B. The researcher should have qualitative research should be applied since pictures will best explain history. C. The researcher should have quantitative research should be applied to understand the difference among tribes. D. The researcher should have quantitative research should be applied since history is about dates and numbers. Okay, what's your answer? Okay, the correct answer is letter A. Okay, for number 8. Which approach should a researcher employ if his goal is to explain a relationship between leadership skills and emotional intelligence? A. Qualitative study is best for the research goal because it aims to explain. B. Qualitative study is best for the research because it is about emotions. C. Quantitative study is best for the research because there are two variables elements to be discussed. D. Quantitative study is best for the research because the purpose of the study is to establish relationship. Okay, the correct answer is letter D. Okay, number 9. One researcher decided that he wants to measure the effectiveness of electric signboards for attracting customers in a car wash. What research approach should be utilized? A. He should utilize qualitative because he needs to interview customers. B. He should use quantitative because he needs to count the number of customers. C. He should use qualitative because it is about explanation of signboards. D. he should use quantitative because it's about the effect of the signboards. Okay, the correct answer would be letter D. Okay, last number. Okay, number 10. What is the better research approach if you plan to tell a story of a street vendor's life? Why? A. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it wants to explain something not very common. B. Qualitative research should be appropriate of the study because it needs pictures and words to better tell a story. C. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it needs to test the known hypothesis. D. Qualitative research should be the approach of the study because it will be able to make generalization with the results. Okay, what's your answer? Answer is letter A. Okay, so I hope you got all the correct answers. So if you have questions and clarifications, you can contact me in my Facebook account or you can email me. Okay, so see you in our next module.